Hollis Hall has been alive with draft preparation, and the decisions being made 3,000 miles away in Ohio are about to impact everything we're building in Chicago. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your direct line to every update, every strategic move, and every piece of intelligence that matters for our beloved Bears. I'm bringing you the insider perspective on how the 2026 draft landscape is shaping up, and trust me when I tell you that what happens in the top 5 picks will create a chain reaction that determines our entire draft strategy. Today, I need you to lock in because the implications of what I'm about to break down will change how you view our offseason approach. The draft room dynamics are shifting in ways most fans aren't tracking yet. While everyone's focused on quarterbacks flying off the board and defensive blue chippers getting snatched up early, there's a deeper story unfolding about positional value, team-building philosophy, and how organizations in different stages of contention are approaching this draft class. I've been studying the recent mock draft projections, analyzing team needs across the league, and connecting dots that reveal fascinating insights about where the Bears fit into this puzzle. Before I get to the heart of what this means for us, I need you to understand the broader context of how the first round is projected to unfold. The top of the draft is quarterback heavy, exactly as we expected. Teams desperate for franchise signal callers are making aggressive moves, jumping up to secure their guys and creating the kind of draft day chaos that can either hurt you or help you, depending on your position. The Jets are projected to make a blockbuster trade to land their quarterback of the future. The Raiders are swinging for the fences on a high-ceiling passer, and suddenly the complexion of the entire first round changes. When quarterbacks start flying off the board early, it creates value slides at other premium positions. Players who would typically go in the top 10 suddenly start falling, and teams sitting in the middle of the first round can capitalize on talent that drops directly into their laps. Tennessee is expected to grab the best defensive player available after addressing quarterback last year, which makes perfect sense given their rebuild timeline. They're selecting a linebacker with elite range and leadership traits, the kind of foundation piece you build a defense around for the next decade. But here's where it gets interesting for us as Bears fans, and why I need you to pay close attention to what happens at pick 4. Cleveland sits there with a decision to make, and the direction they go tells us everything about how the rest of the first round will cascade down to our position at 25. The Browns have been searching for offensive firepower, trying to surround their quarterback situation with enough weapons to be competitive in a brutally tough AFC North. Their receiving core needs an injection of talent, someone who can win contested catches, maintain possession through contact, and provide that physical presence on the perimeter that opens up the entire offense. According to the latest projections, Cleveland is targeting an Ohio State product who checks every single box they're looking for. We're talking about a receiver who dominated Big Ten competition with a combination of strength, body control, and route-running polish that translates immediately to the NFL level. Carnell Tate, out of Ohio State, represents everything modern NFL offenses covet in a wide receiver. He's not the burner who blows past defenders with pure speed, but rather the technician who wins with positioning, hands, and an almost preternatural understanding of leverage. His college production speaks for itself, consistently making plays in critical moments against top-tier competition. What makes Tate particularly intriguing as a prospect is his floor. This isn't a boom-or-bust developmental project. This is a polished receiver who can contribute immediately, regardless of offensive scheme or quarterback accuracy. He creates separation through route precision, wins 50-50 balls through physicality, and most importantly for Cleveland, he's the type of reliable target who thrives in any system. Now here's why this matters tremendously for us in Chicago. When Cleveland takes a receiver at 4, it triggers a domino effect throughout the first round that directly impacts which players are available when we're on the clock. The Giants, picking at 5 through a trade, are also projected to go receiver with a dynamic playmaker who offers elite separation skills. 2 receivers off the board in the top 5 means teams picking after them start pivoting to other positions, and suddenly the defensive talent we're targeting at 25 becomes more accessible. The depth of this defensive class, particularly at edge rusher, means Cleveland's decision to go offense early actually benefits teams like us who need to fortify the pass rush. I've been analyzing our draft strategy all offseason, and it's clear that Ryan Poles and this front office are building through the trenches while adding explosive playmakers where value presents itself. We've got Caleb Williams developing at quarterback, we've addressed offensive line concerns, and now the focus shifts to creating a defense that can generate pressure and create turnovers. The 25 pick puts us in an interesting spot where we're not reaching for need, but rather selecting the best player available who also happens to fill a positional requirement. Edge rusher makes too much sense given where this defense needs to improve, and the talent projected to be available at our spot offers exactly the developmental upside we're looking for. Romelo Height out of Texas Tech is the name appearing in multiple projections for the Bears at 25, and I'll be honest with you, this selection makes tremendous sense from a team-building perspective. Height brings length and athletic tools that are impossible to teach, the kind of raw physical traits that defensive coordinators dream about molding into impact players. He's not the finished product walking through the door on day one, but that's exactly the type of player you target in the back half of the first round. High ceiling, willing worker, and the profile to develop into a legitimate edge threat over his first 2 seasons. Pairing him with our existing defensive front creates a rotation that can keep fresh legs on the field and develop talent without rushing anyone into roles they're not ready for. But let's circle back to Cleveland for a moment because their decision at 4 reveals broader draft trends that every Bears fan should understand. Teams are no longer afraid to take receivers early when they believe they're getting cornerstone talents. The positional value of elite receivers has skyrocketed as offenses become more pass-heavy, and defensive schemes struggle to contain multiple dynamic threats. Cleveland, recognizing this and investing premium draft capital into their receiving core, tells you they're confident in their talent evaluation. Tate represents the type of safe, high-floor pick that losing teams can't afford to miss on. He'll produce regardless of circumstances, and that reliability is worth a top 5 selection in today's NFL. For us, the strategy is different because we're in a different stage of team building. We've got our quarterback, we've addressed offensive playmakers through previous drafts and free agency, and now it's about creating balance. Defense wins championships, especially in January when weather becomes a factor and offensive execution gets more difficult. Adding edge rushing talent at 25, developing that player over the season, and creating sustainable pass rush depth gives us the defensive foundation to compete in a loaded NFC North. Every decision Cleveland makes at 4 ripples down and creates opportunities for teams like us who are building intelligently rather than desperately filling holes. The beautiful part about this draft positioning is that we're not forced into any specific direction. If a receiver prospect unexpectedly slides due to the run on quarterbacks and defensive players, we have the flexibility to pivot and grab exceptional value. If offensive linemen start coming off the board and pushing defensive talent down, we benefit from that too. The key is entering draft day with a clear board, understanding which players fit our scheme, and having the conviction to take the best player available when we're on the clock. That's championship-level drafting, and it's exactly how Poles has operated since arriving in Chicago. Looking at the complete first-round projection, several patterns emerge that should excite Bears fans. Teams are aggressively addressing quarterback, which pushes elite talent at other positions down the board. Defensive players are coming off in clusters, which means when teams pivot to offense, value accumulates at edge rusher and secondary positions. And perhaps most importantly, teams picking in the 20s are in the sweet spot where they can add legitimate starters without reaching or forcing selections based purely on need. We're in perfect position to capitalize on how this draft unfolds, and Cleveland's selection of Tate at 4 is just one domino falling that creates opportunities for us down the line. I want to hear directly from you about how you view this draft strategy. Drop a comment below telling me whether you think edge rusher is the right direction at 25, or if you'd prefer we go in a different direction entirely. Are you sold on height as a developmental prospect, or would you rather see us grab someone with a higher floor who can contribute immediately? And honestly, does Cleveland taking Tate early make you feel better or worse about the receivers already on our roster? Your perspective matters, and I'm reading every single comment, so don't hold back with your thoughts. The bottom line is this: Cleveland's projected selection of Carnell Tate at pick 4 sets off a chain reaction that benefits teams like us who are drafting later in the first round. It clarifies the board, pushes defensive talent down, and creates opportunities for intelligent front offices to add impact players without reaching. We're positioned perfectly to capitalize on how this draft unfolds, and whether it's height off the edge or another defensive playmaker who slides into our range, the Bears are going to walk away from this draft with talent that contributes to winning football in 2026 and beyond. That's how you build sustainable success. And that's exactly the path we're on. Make sure you're subscribed to Bears News Fan Report so you don't miss a single update as we get closer to draft day. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the community of die-hard Bears fans who refuse to miss any breaking news. I'm bringing you analysis, updates, and insider perspectives every single day because this is the most exciting time to be a Bears fan in years. Share this video with everyone you know who bleeds navy and orange. Drop your comments below with your draft preferences, and let's keep building this community together. Bear down, always.